What's happening, Titan fans? Got that dub. First time we've done a dub ever since we've been doing videos on this channel together. First time. We started right at the beginning of the losing streak, 7 games, and then obviously we start off with a loss this season as well. So first victory post game show. So how are we feeling?
Pumped, excited. Like you said, we finally got that monkey off our back. Because we was tired of doing one lose recap after another, but we got a win and it feels good. Didn't start off so good, but we actually made a comeback and won that game. There's a lot of stuff that we still can perfect. That was not a perfect game by any stretch, but we got the win. And when you on an 8-game lose streak, a win is all you care about is getting a dub. You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree. Because it wasn't pretty. And our offense made no sense. Like,
I know what you're about to say, and I agree.
It's like we didn't play that well, but we scored 27 points, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, wait, if my opinion is we didn't play as good as we could have on offense, but we got 27 points, I'm like, so what am I expecting? 38 points a game, and I ain't giving us any credit unless we do that, or what?
I think the thing is we scored 27 points. Granted, one's with an extra time, so you could say 24 points in regulation. But
right.
But there was a lot of ugliness too. Like when we went off to where we had to punt the ball, it was ugly almost every time. We ended on a big, massive sack or something like that. So there was a lot of ugliness to the game too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But I will say our offense was also a lot better in the fact that we didn't have the 3 and outs we did last week. Thankfully. Now, obviously, the Chargers don't have nearly as good as a defense as the Saints do. But it was nice to see. It was also nice to see us bounce back from being down 11-0, which, as people always say, Titans team weren't meant to come from behind. But we were down 11-0 against a really good offense, and we ended up winning. In fact, not only that, but we actually kind of got ahead and stayed ahead for a little bit of a decent amount of time, I think.
Yeah. That was impressive that we came back like that. No panic on the Titans. At least that's good, because when you got an offensive team like them and they get ahead 11-0 like that, usually that means trouble. But we was able to slow them down enough. I mean, they scored 24 points, so you can't say we shut them down. But that's a good offense, and I think our defense made a lot of stops when the game was on the line, because there was a time we was losing 21-17. And we punted them the ball 2 or 3 times, and our defense made one stop after another. Like, any of those drives could have been the game where they put the knife in us.
2 weeks in a row, I would have given our defense a full letter grade better if it weren't for the last drive of regulation. Because I think our defense did so good all week last week against the Saints until we needed one more stop to go down there and kick a field goal, and they honestly walked down the field. They actually could have easily gotten points out of it if it wasn't for the fact that the game was ending.
Well, they did have that bomb.
Yeah, well, they had the bomb, and then they also had a run.
Yeah,
where they got like 12, 13 yards. Was like the longest run they had of the day. And then this week, I thought against Chargers and that explosive offense, they did really, really good until we had that. They had like 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes, and they had the hurry up offense, but really wasn't that much of a hurry up offense. They just quickly moved down, or they moved down there quick, but not too quick, where they basically just took all the time, moved all the way down there, and we had to rely on a clutch sack from Harold Landry on 3rd down to make it where they had to kick the field goal. But then they went back to their good ways of stopping them 3 and out in overtime, giving us the opportunity to go down there and kick a field goal. Now, we've talked about this in person, but I'm very, very, very confused why on 3rd and 10 we didn't run the ball again.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing. I didn't know if I agree with that, but that's what we decided to do. Very much of a letdown. I mean, bad decision, not really letdown, because the outcome was good, but I was confused with that myself.
I mean, yeah, what if he would have missed it? Then I'd be like, we could have run it. Who knows? Could have been a 6, 7, 8 yard run to make it that much easier. Or this is Derrick Henry. A lot of times he's a boomer bust running back. He either gets stuffed at the line or he gets a big gain. So who knows? He may have gotten the first down. So I was like, I was really confused by the 3rd and 10. Now, if it was like we were within the 10-yard line, I kind of understand it. But it was a 41-yard field goal. So I don't really understand why we were just like, yeah, we don't need to get any more first downs or anything. But anyway, it's fine because we won. It's a lot of times things are fine if you win.
Yeah. I would say this 2 weeks in. I think the Titans MVP is Nick Folk. He's been
I'll say
excellent for us. He's been excellent.
automatic.
Automatic.
Was he what 5 for 5 last week? And is he 2 for 2?
2 for 2 with a clutch overtime field goal. So good trade by that. I guess. What was it, 7th round pick?
Mm-hmm. In 2025. It's not even next year.
All right. So good trade though.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go ahead and just talk about a couple position groups, a couple things we did. How are we feeling about our wide receiver room?
I think we still having issues with separation. That or Tannehill, for some reason, all of a sudden doesn't trust his arm or something. Because some sacks were complete whiffs, but there was some coverage sacks as well. And even when he did throw it, I feel like he was looking downfield, nothing. Then it was a 1-yard pass to somebody. You know what I mean? So I feel like we have some separation issues. We had one drop by Hopkins, but I'm not too worried about that personally. But
it's so early on, things where it didn't matter too much.
I would rather Traylon Brooks to be more explosive, but he did have that explosive play, but more active in the game plan.
I was gonna say I want to see him have more receptions. That's what I want to see because
more targets.
Of course, now this is a Tannehill thing. Tannehill minus last week where he was kind of dumb with how often he threw to Hop. But Tannehill just spreads the ball so stupid much because listen to this. Do you know who the reception leader was this week?
I'm going to say Hopkins, but I don't know that.
It is tied between Hopkins and Chigo Okonkwo, and they both had 4 catches. 4. And then Treylon Burks had 3, Westbrook-Ikhine had 3, Derrick Henry had 3, and then we got 2 from Spears, 1 from Chris Moore. Which one from Chris Moore, who's our number 2 wide receiver in yards with 49, which is a beauty of the Tannehill was just dropping bombs in the bucket, which is what was so weird about him missing Chig last week is Tannehill's bomb has just been that touch. It's been one of his automatics, one of the best things about him since we've had him. But the wide receivers, I'm going to give him I would give him, if I was doing a letter grade, I would give him like a B-. I think they were fine. I would think they're fine. There's only 1 drop. My biggest issues I have with our receivers is separation.
That's what I said. Yeah.
I just feel like there's not a lot of separation, but they made the catches when they need to because Chris Moore and Burks, anytime it's a deep ball, it's easy to drop them, and they both came down with it. Obviously D Hop had that nice clutch, put it up here in overtime on 3rd down. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like it didn't look good, but he caught it. It was like a 14-yard gain there at the end. So like they made the plays when they needed to. Chig, it was nice to see him get some catches as well. And Chig, he's just strong, dude. Yeah. Like when people hit him, he just keeps pushing and pulling through.
And I would say now it's just 2 weeks in. I am shocked, and maybe you're gonna get to tight end eventually. But I would say I'm shocked we're not calling more plays for Chig. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that because he's an X-play kind of guy.
Yeah, he is. Johnny Smith. We did that when we had Johnny Smith. Obviously, this is a different coaching staff. This OC. But, we did it last year, actually, with Chig. I remember he had a play in Kansas City. The play was designed to go to him. Surprised we're not doing more of that. But real quick, back to the receiving thing. I agree. I would give us a B- as well. I would definitely not fail us. I would like to see more separation, but sadly, we don't have a separation guy, I don't think.
I was going to say, is what we really need, if we are indeed going to be throwing the ball more than we used to, we need to start getting speedy receivers because I think we built this team to have receivers who are big and can block.
Yeah.
Burks could block. Robert Woods, he was average size, but Robert Woods was a good blocker. You look at people like Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, like these are just bigger bodied wide receivers. I think if we're going to be throwing the ball around a lot, we need to start going after some Speedy Gonzalez's.
Yeah. I would say I think we having only 1 drop is actually not really bad at all. Because Tannehill had a lot of completions. We talked about this, either low or behind, and they caught every single one. Except
for one that I just now thought of because I see his name for 0 receptions for 0 yards was Trevon Wesco.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of low, but he needed to catch that.
He did. That stalled a drive, remember. That drive ended up stalling because that was a decent drive. So that was a letdown. Now, granted, Tannehill did bullet a low pass for no good reason. But, yeah.
At the same time, you're a professional athlete. Catch the dang ball. I'll tell you who stat-wise had a little less was Tyjae Spears. He only had 55 scrimmage yards, but he was 49 of them was rushing with a 6.1 average.
I like his rushing. I like his rushing a lot, and I think you're probably going to disagree with me when I say this, but I like what I see from him running the ball than I do Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry. No, I feel like Derrick Henry can still be your Lindo White. He can still be your Ezekiel Elliott. He can still be. It's 4th and 1. It's pound him up the middle because he did. Whenever we had a second one or a third one, we went up the middle. He made it almost every single time. I'll give him that. But I just don't know if he has that explosive to get you the big.
I still think the problem is now this is technically a Tim Kelly problem, but I just feel like our whole lineup and personnel is completely changed when Henry's in there, and you just know it's gonna be a run. Or it's like, oh well, this is obviously a run. We got D Hop and Burke sitting on the sidelines. There's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine in and Chris Moore.
We had that in overtime a lot. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, obviously this is a run play.
I would say that to me that would be a good idea to play action in those formations a lot.
We did do a lot of play actions. I don't remember who it was who tweeted it, but Tannehill had like amazing play action pass stats today.
I don't remember the one with Chris Moore was, but the one with Traylon Burks, that was a play action play, and that was brilliant. And that's another thing is I wish we took more deep balls, like throw the ball deep. More.
I mean, yeah, obviously we were 2 for 2 basically with them today.
Okay. And I would say another thing I wish we did more. I don't know if this is a Tannehill thing or Kelly, but not even a deep ball. Can we throw more 10-yard passes? You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. Either we're
Tannehill
going
throws too many 2-3-yard passes, especially when we don't need it. Like throwing the 9, those 3-yard passes.
Yeah, we do like to do that. Yeah, Derrick Henry only had a 3.2 average, but he had 80 yards and a touchdown. But then he also had
80 yards.
Yeah, he also had 15 receiving yards, so he was just over 100 all-purpose last week and just under 100 all-purposes this week. So he's got over 200 yards between the 2 games. Gotcha. So he's still producing. I just think our run plays are still a little bit too predictable. But at this point, we're nitpicking. We beat the Chargers. We both said we'd lose 27-17. Yeah, we probably need to be a little more excited than we are. Now, obviously, let's just say what it is. Would have lost the game if they had Austin Eckler because we went to overtime without Austin Eckler. You can't really play that game though, because if that's the case, you'd say, oh well, without Tannehill last year against the Chiefs, we went into overtime 17-17 with Malik Willis. That means we would have beat him if we had Ryan Tannehill, which you can't really do that.
And I don't know how much of a difference a guard would make, but we was missing Peter Skronsky, so maybe that would open some things for Derrick Henry.
And our starting safety and number 1 corner both were out as well.
Yeah, that's true. So you can't really play that game. But
both teams were missing key people.
Yeah, they had Joey Bosa, who did not play much, but he produced when he was.
No, he was like at one point he had like 8 plays, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. I think is what it was. And obviously the sacks count as tackles, but yeah. That's insane. That's insane to me. Tannehill, I would give him a B+. Because he never put the ball in harm's way. 20 out of 24. There's 4 incompletions. 4. That's insane. Touchdown. He also ran a touchdown. It was his only scramble of the game. He ran the touchdown.
I wish we called that play more often.
We used to in the Arthur Smith days all the time.
And it worked. And guess what? We called it this time, and it worked.
In 2019 and 2020, Tannehill ran for 7 and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, he's got 1 right now, but I'll say me personally, I would give Tannehill a B-. He did not turn the ball over. That was huge. He turned the ball over 3 times. He did not do that. Good job. But I'm gonna go back to if our receivers had the dropsies or wasn't bailing them out. That 20-24 would be a lot more. 16-24, 15 of 24. Yards would go down a little bit. Drives would end a little bit, but. B- is still not bad. B- is still not bad, so I would give him a B-. And I feel like a couple times he should have thrown it away when he didn't. And
I would agree with that. I would give him a B-, a B- grade if it weren't for 2 plays, and that's the bomb to Chris Moore and the bomb to Traylon Burks because
there's beautiful passes.
They're beauties. I'll give you that. I think Chris Moore had to slow down a little bit, but like Traylon Burks just in stride, just like caught in stride. Like that should have been a touchdown.
Pass. And to be honest, it was a good he was his first touchdown of the season. That Westbrook-Ikhine pass, that came that close to someone's fingertips.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, there's a couple times where he threaded the needle, which I would normally typically say, man, Tannehill's just so freaking accurate. But with the way he played last week, I'm like, lucky.
I would say this, though. He's with Westbrook-Ikhine. Is that how you pronounce it?
Akina. You want to call him Nakini. You've been calling him Nakini for 3 years.
I would say I still My opinion on him is still the same. He's a good number 3. I never want him to be number 2 or number 1. But
Number 3 on the outside. Once we get Kyle Phillips back, he needs to be 4.
All right. Either way, I mean, he's got us a touchdown. He was one of our best receivers last week. To be honest, he might be doing better than Traylon Burks, especially if you take out that one bomb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Westbrook-Ikhine is our number 5 on the receiving yards today, and he was number 2 last week.
How many yards did he get this week?
25.
That's it. Well, how many catches? 3?
3.
Okay. I would say this: if you want to be a explosive receiver, don't play for us. We spread it too much, which is really not a bad thing unless you are a receiver that wants 1,500 yards.
The only time I've ever seen us not spread it was last week, and that's when we went 14 times to Hopkins, but that didn't go well.
But you know what I do miss a little bit, and this is what we need: throw AJ Brown a slant who takes it 80 yards.
Yeah, I agree. We need more. We need more. We never had it before him. Haven't had it since him. Where you just throw just a simple dig, a simple 5 and out, a simple slant, and then suddenly he sheds a guy, and then he's just off to the races.
That just makes your offense so much deadlier, and we don't have that.
If you're a stats guy, it really beefs up your quarterback stats too. Yeah. So our defense, I'm gonna go ahead and just give the defense a grade. I know we're not really officially just handing out grades for every position group and whatnot. I would give our defense a B. I'm gonna go flat B. I would go B plus if it weren't for that last drive of regulation.
And I blame
that was just
more than personnel because it looked like we was playing prevent, and prevent doesn't do anything but allows them to go down the field.
It wouldn't be so bad if people were making just great plays and great congested catches, but there are people just like 12 to 17 yards out, just standing there by themselves going, and they just throw it and just goes. And you don't even have to make any plays.
I would say, you said before, this would be a different game. Like, we'd probably lose if Harold Landry didn't make that sack. We literally let them do what they want, which is get down there with no time left, score a touchdown, game over. That's what they wanted, and they came that close to doing it, but Harold Landry made a good sack.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you, Harold Landry. And the pass rush wasn't what it had been. Chargers, I do think you're supposed to have a solid offensive line. I'm not gonna go as far as to say elite, but solid. They played well. They gave Herbert time.
Good.
Sorry. Good.
No, if you look at Tynes got 3 sacks. 3 sacks in a game is good, but what I'm looking for is consistent pass rush. You know what I mean? Get him moving because there's too many healthy pockets for him. He stood around.
There were some healthy pockets where he just stood there and just like, And
to be honest, that I'm surprised because before the game, you and I both said, "Gotta get after Herbert." Without that, with Fulton and Hooker out, he's going to slice us up a little bit. And so I'm shocked that they didn't actually score more than they did, that we stopped them as much as we did, because our pass rush wasn't there consistently. So you said you give the defense, what was it, B minus?
Just a flat B.
A B, okay. I will give it... I'll give it a B plus. 24 points with Herbert. That's pretty decent for me. We stopped him in the overtime. That was huge by us. I would give us a B plus.
My biggest issue is our secondary. We just don't challenge people at the point of catch.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like we don't get the hands on the football at all. We just don't.
No, we don't.
It's either a bad pass and uncatchable. It's a bad pass where he stretched, just can't quite bring it in, or they just catch it. Like, I just don't feel like there's just many times where we just break up a pass. Yeah. It's sad, but we just don't do that much. I'll cut us some slack because, again, we have Hooker out, we have Fulton out. But sadly, that's just something. Sadly, that's just something you have to accept with this Titans team, is that them two are just going to kind of be in and out and in and out.
Do you feel like Simmons popped on your screen more today?
Yeah, I've seen him in the backfield a whole heap more.
Yeah, today he popped a lot more. Today he looked more like this. Even though he got a sack in both games, today I thought he did better.
I mean, he's on a good pace. He's on pace for 17 sacks season.
Yeah. So I liked Arden Key was a little quieter.
Arden Key was quieter. But, like, we got so many people with sacks or with several sacks already, because Arden Key now 2 games in is a sack and a half. Danico Autry, I think, is leading the team with 2.5 sacks. Because I think he had 1.5 last week, 1 today. Jeffrey Simmons had 1 in each, so he's 2. And I think Landry had 1 this week. Who got our other sacks last week? Or was it just the 3?
I think it was just 3.
Just the 3 guys.
Now I'll say this. But that's what's good about having depth in the pass rush. On Key was the guy in week 1 because we lost, but he was the guy in week 1. Harold Landry was quiet. Then week 2, on Key was a little quieter, but Harold Landry got a sack. You know what I mean? It's like I don't care if we have a bunch of 9-sack people. That's to me just as nice as having one 18-sack guy, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I mean, because I don't really give a crap if people go to the Pro Bowl or not. Like, I don't care if Arden Key gets 8 sacks and everybody around him also had 8 sacks, as opposed to everybody around him gets 3 or 4, and he's got 14 and he goes to the Pro Bowl. I don't really give a crap if he goes to the Pro Bowl or not.
Well, to me also, it's easier. It's hard to game plan against us. You got a guy that has 16 sacks. You get 2 guys on him. You know what I mean? But if you have everybody's capable of getting sacks, that's a little harder to stop.
Because you can't double team everybody. So maybe that's a little tough on the defense, but I don't trust especially with these backups. I just don't trust our secondary.
I know.
And that last drive just irritates me when I'm just sitting here looking at it. 21-24, 3 minutes or something on the drive. I'm just sort of watching. There's 12 yards. 15 yards,
I think
8 yards. Like I said, everybody was doing curls. Everybody just run up and curl around like that. And he just go.
I'll say this. I think you and I have different opinions on who to blame, though. I think in that drive, you blame the secondary. I don't blame them one iota in that defense. I blame our defensive coordinator. What's his name?
Shane Bowen.
Shane Bowen.
Technically, he's part of the defense.
Prevent defense. We're all 15, 16 yards back. I mean, of course, that call route would be there all day, every day. No one can stop that.
But he's still part of the defense. You're very hard on Derrick Henry. But how many times do offensive coordinators just call a run where he just runs straight into a brick wall, and you still say, "Oh, this running game, Derrick Henry sucks"?
Well, you got to admit, Derrick Henry in his 2,000-yard season, he would be able to make more out of that back in the day.
Also had a way better O-line. Remember how literally 3 years ago O-line was a strength
a week
of ours? We had Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, Nate Davis. Right tackle was kind of a revolving door with going from like Conklin and Dennis Kelly and just. Didn't one year David Quesenberry started the whole season?
Yeah, I saw him playing for somebody actually this week, and I can't remember.
Might have been the Bills, actually. I know he was for the Bills at a point, but I don't know if he's still there. But anyways, it's just crazy that we went from having O-line was one of our biggest strengths to now it's just like, just give Derrick Henry like this big of a hole. That way, if he turns sideways, he can slide through it. Or just give Tannehill just a second to go through a few reads. Something.
That continues. Even though we scored 27 points, the O-line is going to continue to haunt us, I feel like, for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Getting Skoronski back is going to help. I will say, though, I'm not seeing a whole lot of issues out of Chris Hubbard for being a 32, 33-year-old veteran.
So who do you blame on this offensive line, then?
The left side. Just like that one sack between Xavier Newman, I think his name is. Xavier Newman and Andre Dillard literally both blocked nobody. They both just kind of like went to the left a little bit and just like looked like this, and the guy just zooms right past them and just pow. I think that was 4th down too, right? Was that the 4th and 5 play that we went for it? Yeah. So it's just it's still a mess.
Newman got benched fast. He did.
Good job by Vrabel there. That needed to happen. I would say
this offensive line. You could say maybe it's a work in progress, and it just takes time to gel. But right now, it's definitely an issue. But what I hate though is our rookie guard is not gelling right now because he's got a
appendix issue.
Well, I guess he's hurting, but
he's hurting. Yeah, some sort of an appendix issue. So hopefully that's not something that's going to require surgery. Because I know I had a sister, or we have a sister that had to get her appendix removed. So I don't know if that's something you can delay or put off, or if you do have to get the surgery. I don't know if that's something that's gonna to get it removed. I don't know if it's something that's gonna put you out of commission for a while. You'd think it has to. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out. Obviously, we'll probably talk about how that thing plays out on a preview for the Browns. But I will say, I think we're being awfully negative for the fact that we just won.
Well, we gave it B's, a B minus, and B pluses. So
our grades are fine. Our grades are fine, but I feel like we're just like, we're just running up against a wall. It's offensive line is an issue. Our secondary just we're just really just ranting and raving about stuff.
It was an ugly win, like we start off. So there's plenty to talk about.
I wouldn't even say it's an ugly win. I'll just say it's a gritty win. I mean, anytime if you hold Chargers to 24 points, good job. And anytime you can score 27, especially with our offense, good job. Like, to me, it was just a good, gritty, pulling out a close game like Mike Vrabel likes to do. and winning games that you maybe shouldn't have won, like Mike Vrabel likes to do. So it was Titan brand football type of dub. Now, last week, if we had won last week, you could say that was an ugly win, where we just kick a field goal at the last second, make it to 18-16 win, where we never even score a touchdown. That's an ugly win. But 27-24 in overtime, I wouldn't say it's ugly.
I guess, in my opinion, though. But, that offensive line, again, is continuing going to be an issue. Derrick Henry, you and I have different opinions on that. He definitely doesn't look like himself.
I mean, yeah, I think he's lost a step as well, but I also think his offensive line is so much worse. I think when Vrabel sees, or Vrabel, run. When Derrick Henry sees a hole, he hits it. The problem is there's just almost never a hole.
Like, he also seems way less willing to bounce it out. I don't know what that means, but he's way. I think
it's because our tackles on the outside are going. I get.
But I mean, there's sometimes where that's not the case. It's not like bounce it out, and he didn't. And I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Because that's when he always got his best runs. I mean, he could always run up between the tackles, but his best runs were always just bounce outs. But again, we did get the dub. We'll take it. We're 1-1, so that's exciting. It was funny because I thought if you asked me who would we get the win out of at least the first 2 weeks, I would say, well, if we had to win, I'm going to say Saints and lose to the Chargers. But
yeah, I'm always the worst. We do our weekly predictions where we predict every single NFL game who's going to win and lose. I do my worst picks for the Titans every single year, and I'm already 0 for 2. I said we'd beat the Saints and lose to the Chargers, and we flipped that. So next week I'm going to say lose to the Browns. So hopefully that helps.
I say they play tomorrow night. We'll get a more of a feel of what the Browns are because they played one game. They beat the Bengals, but and it's like so we'll see what they do. They're playing the Steelers this week, so we'll see what they look like. Get a better clear.
I mean, yeah, they might look like average at best and lose 17-21 or something like that.
Yeah,
like
if it's in Cleveland or Nashville. I want to say Cleveland, but I don't know that for sure.
I don't remember.
Either way, you know what's something else we gotta fix?
What's that, buddy?
Holdings and not delay of games, false starts.
I agree with you. Like, this offensive line just irritates me because not only are they just not good,
they do so much. All of our penalties is because of them.
All of them.
They're 80% of our penalties.
And Trevon Wesco, I think he's had one each game as well. He doesn't even play that much, so good job. Titans at Browns. That means we're away, right?
Right. Going to the dog pound.
Going the old dog pound. But yeah, that offensive line, not only do they play bad, but they contribute to like 85% of our penalties. I'm just throwing those numbers out. That isn't anything I've verified or anything. But yeah, they penalize so much. They don't even do that many holdings. It's mostly false starts.
Yeah.
Mike, why do you stop doing that?
Yeah, they were doing that at home. Like, you're not supposed to do that at home games.
It's kind of been a false start period, a problem period, though, because didn't D-Hop have a false start last week?
Yes, he did.
I was like, I think Burks or Chick also had a false start, so I don't know what the false start thing is, but anyways, here we go. Negative, even though we just got a nice dub and the first dub since last November, and here we are. The
Jags did lose to the Chiefs.
Jags lost to the Chiefs.
Technically,
Colts
1-1.
So technically, we're tied with the division with the Colts as well. They're all 1-1. Texans are sitting 0-2, which I honestly expected better from the Texans.
Me too. And then the Colts are looking decent.
They hung tough against the Jags, and then they just put up a pile of points. It was mostly
Minshew.
Minshew.
Richardson did run 2, I think, so that's 14 points, and then Minshew did rest. You gotta admit, because Minshew would beat us in Jacksonville, but I would say Minshew's not a bad quarterback, so don't take him lightly when we face him.
No, he's not. Not at all.
Granted, Richardson could be back. I don't know, but either way, don't take Minshew lightly.
I think it's a concussion, so he's either going to miss one game or no games, so it's not like it's going to affect anything for when he faces us. But now we're just looking ahead. But trying to think if there's anything else we want to say on this victory video we got going on here. Any other observations? I like this being gutsy on that 4th and 5. I just wish we would have actually blocked somebody because remember that guy just literally just ran through untouched. I think
that was untouched. Well, I hate those. Like, reaction was gutsy and that happened, so that's why like, oh, let's not ever go for it again.
Or just be like, just block somebody, Because I'm pretty sure I remember Hopkins was like wide open on a slant, which is a good play call on 4th and 5.
That is one thing Tannehill's doing a little bit in both games is he'll throw it to the wrong guy. Someone's wide open. He's throwing to someone that's double coverage, or at least covered well. That was actually couple plays where he actually did complete the pass, but he threw to someone that was covered pretty decent, and there's wide open guys somewhere. I'm like, well, you could have got him the ball make it easier, but okay. I
Could've
wish
made
we had
life
an
easier on
open
yourself.
Yaks too. Yaks would be nice.
Yeah, because as soon as someone catches the ball, that's where the play ends.
Yes.
Problem is, that's kind of Nick Westbrook-Kina. He's not a yak guy. That's kind of DeAndre Hopkins. He's never been a yak guy. Traylon Burks is supposed to be decent, but I think he's gotten 3 catches each game, so I think it's just 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So I would love to get the ball in his hands more.
Chig tried to yak at one time. He was breaking a lot of tackles, but I don't think he made much yards out of it.
No, he had that one screen where he hurt himself. Is he a screen or a short play? It is a screen, right?
It was screen, yeah.
Yeah, and he hurt himself that play, but he was pulling through a bunch of idiots there too. Did he stiff arm the heck out of somebody?
Did.
Yeah. So yeah. Chig and Burks when you get these guys and some stuff wrote up. But every time we try that, we always get hit in the backfield. But we've discussed that in length. I don't know if we did it on the channel or not, but
yeah.
yeah.
But hey, we got the win, right? That's all that
I'll
matters.
take it.
Titans 1-1. Well, a 500 team. We haven't been that in a long time, right? So that's good.
My hope was to come out of this easy run we got going on, or a hard run we got going on at the beginning of the season. Sadly, the Colts just again ain't looking like the gimme, because that was the only gimme I thought of the first 6 games.
Yeah.
But if we can come out 3-3,
I
would be happy. Right now we're on pace because we're 1-1. So,
yeah.
I mean, of course, as bad as the Bengals look, they can keep that up for all I care.
Yeah. And did you hear that Joe Burrow re-aggravated his calf?
Yeah, if he could just, I don't know, miss a couple of weeks, I'd be okay with that.
Backup, do you know? Because they have dangerous receivers, but if they have a bad backup, I don't know if it matters.
Honestly, with the way Joe Burrow's playing, it almost doesn't matter if he's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Again, that's looking ahead. And with the Browns, I'll say this, I'm not saying that's not winnable. I'm not saying we can't win that game. It's going to be tough, but.
Yeah, Browns is hard to say because we've literally only seen one game out of them. They're playing tomorrow night. Yeah, they're playing tomorrow night.
Oh, one observation I'll say is it was nice to see that it worked for Titans, worked for their favor in this game. But D-Hop, to me, once again, did a D-Hop special. And that's overtime play. It looked like he clearly just pushed the cornerback away and got it. And I'm like, that's what he did to us so many times in our career.
I don't know why he got away with that. He did it all the time. And sometimes you go 2 hands. Sometimes he's like,
pushes and then catches, and the refs don't call nothing. And it was so frustrating. But finally, it helped us out because that overtime catch, it looked like as he's cutting, he just pushes them, catches it, and the refs didn't call anything. Nope. I don't get it. And I would say I feel bad, but they've torched us for so many years. Hopkins has doing that push off. So it was nice that it actually helped us win.
Yeah, it was nice. Refreshing to see.
Maybe he need to push off more often so he can be a little more open.
Maybe. Because, I feel like he's never too open. No. Like, he's our catch leader 2 weeks in a row.
That was the most open he was, I feel like. You know why? Because he pushed off.
Yeah, he was. He really did try to catch that with his helmet, though. He's like, catching it like that. Which probably means it was technically a little bit behind because, you know, it needs to be here, not here.
Yeah.
But, beggars can't be choosers. We got the dub, and really, that's all that counts.
Yep.
So I guess that's all we got for a Titan victory video. Feels good to make one. Definitely in a much better mood making this than I was last week, which I was like, it's put on the whole season.
You wasn't really in a good mood with the preview either.
Oh, of the Chargers game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but maybe this could get us a little more of a positive spin. Now, we'll see it when we do the preview of next week, but so far I picked the Titans to lose both games. I was right one time, wrong the other time. And I have to see the Browns because I can't tell you, honestly, I cannot tell you what I'm going to pick next week.
Yeah, because as bad as the Bengals were 2 weeks in a row now, was the Browns actually that good?
Yeah.
Or was the Bengals just struggling? Of course, again, remember last year they struggled early as well.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll see what's going on here.
If Browns, lose, then I'm like, we can win this. But if they beat the Steelers 35-14, I'm going to be like, okay, 1-2. Not that bad.
Not trying to get ahead of myself, but if the Browns were not as good as they actually looked against the Bengals, and we beat them, and we go up to 2-1, and if Joe Burrow actually misses a couple weeks of that calf strain, we could beat them and go up 3-1, and then we have the Colts, and we go 4-1.
Okay, someone's getting ahead of themselves. You know
that's not going to happen.
We're going to lose one of those games that we shouldn't, just because with an offensive line like ours, you're going to lose a game.
Yeah, it's just funny that 8 hours ago I'm like, so anyways, wonder if we'll be drafting top 5. Like, is Caleb Williams going to be in striking range or?
Yeah, seriously, things can change fast, but we still have a lot fixed to do. Wow, we still have a lot of stuff we need to do better before I think we're even a 10-17. In my opinion.
It was just nice to score 27 points because we just.
It was nice to
score
win.
Points.
It was nice to get a W.
Nice to win. Nice to score points. So, I guess that's all I got. We're gonna go and cut this thing out because it's 30-something minutes long already. So, not cut the thing off, but end it. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I guess that's all we got. So thanks for joining us on a victory video for a change. It felt great. Yep. And we'll see you Friday night or Saturday morning. Peace.